know about it, but don't try to run them or get your tools calculated without thinking to run it for fun. It's dangerous, it's funny. I remember next parade, I think that's the most famous application of these little vehicles. They're designed as a utility military type vehicle, but they were what the village used in the prisoner for bringing under control as taxis and all sorts of things. There's the E74 in your programme. Nice little open top four-wheeler, lovely car that one. This is what's known as a bubble car, but you've got to remember those, they don't have a reverse. So that little Citroen van is left-hand drive. These little mini boats coming back past me now. I don't know if we're doing a line-up or what we're doing. They put a microphone in your hand and then they assume you know what you're doing. I haven't got a clue. I think you can line up if you want. We've got an hour. Yeah, no, that's fine. If you're Ford and said it was Japanese, but it isn't. No, it's a proper car. Ford Probe, this one. So lift that hatchback, lovely big sunroof on the top. Does it have aircon? Oh, it's alright. My Golf should have aircon this summer. Yeah, just a joke. Series Land Rover, we had one of those, a long wheelbase, so yeah, exactly the same dashboard. Now what year is this one? 1977, so 76 wasn't a bad guess when you were over there. Lovely little Morris, this one. Hello there, I see you've got your sunshine roof open. Oh yes, yeah, both on the windscreen's open, don't 1936 Morris 8, lovely. And sunshine roof open as well. No, well, I suppose you haven't only these little quarter light things. No, well that's lovely to see it. And so you've got a bit of taken. What year is she? 1914. And of course the running joke was they were available in any colour as long as it was black, but of course that wasn't always the case, was it? All different colours, whatever colour we came up on the day. But they were the vehicles that brought motoring to the masses that afforded. Window open, complete with bootlace. That's it. What year is this one, Bill, sir? 1952 Model A. The first model. There we are in nicely oiled condition. They were innovative, certainly of their time, and certainly with a bit of French character. Lovely, thank you. I think it's left-hand drive day today. Hello there. And well, what's this one? 1960 Cadillac, this one. So has anybody seen the Iron Maiden? Have you seen the Iron Maiden? One of my favourite, this one, sir. 1966, the sort of car my granddad would have loved to have. He had a friend of mine had one, and you can tell how far car safety's come. She took the passenger seat out, used to put her baby in a crib in the footwell. And then when she had 2 children, she had to get a different car, and she still missed it right up until she passed away. So he had this car for 24 years, and he's not the one he had.
racing on the pre-war bikes. 250 built in Eton in Yorkshire. Sounds very nice. The microphone will keep working, not like last year. I was more like Norman Collier last year with it. Oh, it's Bob. We haven't spoken to Bob. Bob Banton. Yeah, that's all very nice. Thank you. Quickly. These tanks were very popular in the 50s. Right, it says, NEC quickly, 1959, been off the road since 1974, now light new stored and fitted with new tyres, ready for the next 60 years. Thank you. It's not working. Oh right, he's peddling that one. Right, another nice patch, and this is beautiful condition. Even down to the little fly screen on the front. And this is B175, no, 650 14 Ford Sport. Right, nice, lovely condition that. Ex-army bike. It's funny how a lot of these bikes, once they get the arena, that's it. They don't want to know. It's just for Harley Davidson.
350 MT.
Still with all the original army panniers, all the plastic panniers, and when the army finished with them, they sold about a lot of them around, actually, aren't there?
There's quite a few, and the 500 version as well. So.
Yeah, Rotax engine, so very nice. It's a very useful bike, especially in the winter. Oh, poor old Dan. Oh, little motorette or a little rally, which is that?
Yeah, rally runabout, 1960, 50cc. I think I'm just out of petrol.
Well, the motorette engine, but they rally built them under licence, so they were built in France, engine, exactly the same engine, petrol tank on the back, and again, like the industry, it's been sold in there. Enjoy that. My name is Jeff.
Have a look at it. This one is actually one of the best examples you'll see. Like I say, Guildford's, Dennis's were built at Guildford, not far. Now Atkinson's were another British break, were quite a premier brand. Now many of these companies didn't have Renault's engine in it. This Atkinson's got a Gardner engine in it. Now Gardners were renowned for making very frugal diesel engines. They were called the Gardner's engine because they were not a fast engine, but they were very good on fuel. You basically got 1 or 2 more miles per gallon out of the Gardner than you did the equivalent of other manufacturers. Gardner's actually were a Frankfurt in Manchester. An ex-military vehicle, this is a Scammell Explorer. Now Scammell's built all sorts of vehicles. They built little one-cylinder fire pumps, they built municipal transport vehicles, and then they built the first vehicle that ever made 100 tonne and vehicles to tow 240 tonne. Now these were originally built for the RAF and the Army as breakdown trucks, but many of them, this one in particular as well, excuse me, this one, many of them went to garages after they went to military service. This is out of conversion. Originally they had 10 miles, gallons per mile. which is quite interesting. Now the next vehicle coming around, this is again is a very interesting vehicle. Again, a fire tender. This is actually an airfield type fire tender. They're sometimes called RIVs, rapid intervention. So this vehicle, the chassis, again, is a Scammell chassis. It was built by Chubb, just by vehicles. This is actually a full-side, what became a very successful range of vehicles. It's got a rear engine. If you look, there's a grille at the back. The engine is behind you, not in front of you. And that's so you get all the content over the front. There's a Chubb body and with a dive support. This is a freight rover. The factory unfortunately no longer exists, although the Sherpa name is still used by a company. Then we have another very useful off-road vehicle. This yellow one is called a Unimog. Unimog is a Mercedes brand. Mercedes' biggest employers in the country at the time, and it got split into what we now know as BT and Roll now. Page like today keeps the cab cool, so the top skin absorbs the heat, because they were designed to go anywhere. And these were used by RAF construction, so they would tow bulldozers, steamrollers, etc. to building airfields. And then as you can see, this one in civilian life became a breakdown truck. Very powerful, but unfortunately not very fast. And now we come, we come to the Little Bedford Baker's truck. This has been owned by the family that owns the garage at Archer's Green for many years. Little Bedford petrol engine, superb vehicle, owned by the Barnes family that not too far from here. And again, it's in the commercial lineup. Come and have a look. It's actually better than when it came out of the factory. They were good working vehicles. And now we have another Scammell Explorer. This one's still got the original petrol engine there. If you remember her, she redesigned it for those diesel, because at the time the other one so again, this is a small vehicle, 6-wheel drive, go virtually anywhere, tow virtually anything. And then we have a Guildford going up the motorway on what looked like a chassis with an engine, sitting on an orange box, taking somewhere to put the body on. So this one was actually registered in 1939 to Porlock and Minehead Motor Services. It's come and have a look. And then again we come on to ERF. ERF was an offshoot from Foden Lorries. These were built up at Sandbach in Cheshire. Followed by another ERF. This one is structured. These didn't build their own engines, and where you used to have Gardner's, Leyland's, AEC, Cummins dominated the market. Now we've got coming round a very unique fire engine. This is an American LaFrance petrol engine. He's hoping he's got enough petrol to actually a 9.5 litre engine producing 75 horsepower. Then again we're onto a modern Scania. This one, you'll see the rear axle lifts up. That's so that when you're not carrying a heavy load, you don't need to have the rear axle working. Now this is a new one to be in this area. This is a Leyland device now. Part of the Leyland group, they actually built the Albion factory in Scottstown in Scotland. If you follow the run, there was a breakdown truck of Scania that was in a city. This is known as the high-vis tunnel on airfield. High-vis pilot signatures on it to manage. So thank you for that. And then we come back to another Land Rover 109. Again, you're sitting on the fuel tank on this one. Interesting. Whereas on the standard version, the room is actually just a bit of useless knowledge that one knows about. Thank you, sir. And then we have another lightweight. This one is as it was been delivered. As I we call them lightweights, they're proper made as air foldables. And it's a Land Rover 2A. So is this 60s as well? 68 this was this. Well done. Okay, do you want to talk about it, sir? You happy to talk on the bike?
First in 500 of the production line of the 2As, trained manufactured in 68, went into service in January 69.
Excellent. Do you know anything of its service history or not?
Yeah, it was.
Tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of these built. Lots of varieties. This is a standard, what we call a GS or general service vehicle. They came as tippers, they came as flatbeds. If you ever watch stories of Red Bull Express in Normandy, you'll see loads of these driven by specialist units. At the time, the Americans still had segregation, and a lot of their driver units were totally black people manned. Whereas in Britain, we were used to integrated units. Thank you for that. Original petrol engine in it, which means they're not very good on fuel, unfortunately, but very useful. With that back body, you can use it as a camper while you're here. Then we have a few nuts and bolts together called a Jeep. People will tell you that Jeep actually stands for just enough essential parts. And again, these were the backbone of the US Army, not all armies actually.
So, it looks like we're being joined in the arena now by and leading the parade coming up now on my right hand side is an agricultural engine. So that's the type of engine that would have worked as your steam engine in its basic form, would have been used to baling, wood sawing, anything like that. This is a Garrett traction engine in 4-inch scale, and when we talk about scale models, it's inches to the foot, so 4 inches to the foot, followed by 3-inch scale Parham, double traction engine, single cylinder engine, and another engine that would have been used in full size. Another barrel there, and I believe another 4-inch barrel there, that one, dark green, the barrels would be maroon colour or green with brown wheels. This is a Savage, 6-inch scale, half size. And Savage was built by Savage of Kings Lynn, who were agricultural engineers, and then went on to build fairground equipment. And it's quite a diversification. Interestingly enough, Frederick Savage also went on to become Mayor of Kings Lynn in Norfolk, up in my neck of the woods. Got a McLaren train engine there now, a road locomotive with the train now Melody has arrived. So, that's all right.
Gentlemen, and welcome to the Sussex Steam Rally at Parham Park. For some reason, I seem to have drawn the short straw and been asked to do the commentary on the miniature engines today. So, with a bit of help from the various miniature engine owners, I'm sure we will all learn something. The reason I'm doing it is you saw me arrive, I've got no steam, no water, but I'm here on time. And I actually have the 6-inch steam Foden wagon, which is parked in the ring. The reason I had to turn it round is because there's a slight slope on this ground, and with the steam engines, it's always a good idea to park them what's called head uphill. And that means that the water in the firebox is at least covering the crown, or rather the water in the boiler is covering the crown of the firebox. So all the engines, when they park up, will park up, face everything is safe. So we now have a selection. I think we've got about 30 odd miniature engines going around the ring, and I will jump out and stop the occasional one. So I think the first one I'm going to stop is Andy, because he's got a big smile on his face, and he will hopefully tell us a little bit about his wonderful barrel.
Kit build, 2.5 years. Yeah, you get the machine and then paint it.
It's not quite as easy as that, but you have to have some basic knowledge. But a number of these engines going around the ring are steam traction roll kits. If you're really keen and enthusiastic, look them up on the web, and they do a whole range of different engines. So now we've got a lovely Fowler. If I didn't have my Foden, this is the engine I would have. We used to have a full-size Fowler, and I still miss it. So I'm going to ask Dan if perhaps he can tell us a little bit about the Fowler as she's going around. Here we go, Dan, over to you.
4-inch scale model, 1926, R3, bed engine, just working the bottom of the plate. Display, right, the under 20
So this little engine in front of me weighs 3/4 of a tonne. My little Foden weighs about 1.5 tons. And behind us we have another little Foden, which is actually 4.5-inch scale. We will try and explain a little bit about the scales to you in a wee while, so just bear with us. But this is Gary and the family who have their little Foden, and I was going to ask Ronnie to have a quick word. Now Ronnie is a steam apprentice. The National Traction Engine Club have a junior organisation called the Steam Apprentice Club for youngsters aged, I think it's 6 up until 20s, to encourage them and to allow them to have the experience of driving, steering, firing, cleaning, fixing the engine. So, Ronnie, can you tell me, how old are you?
10. I think we just had it under a year. Yes.
They used to have a little traction engine, but they upsized to a Foden, which I think is better because it seems you can fit all the family on, doesn't it? Lovely. Right, well, have a good day, Ronnie. Ronnie's wearing a Steam Apprentice t-shirt. If anyone is interested in the Steam Apprentice Club, please come along and have a chat, or look them up on the website, and you'll find all the details. Off you go then. Thank you. Right. Oh, Rick, it seems to be the year for the umbrella. Mr. Calcutt, perhaps you could stop and have a word. How long did it take you to build this engine?
3 years, including the trailer and the water bowser, which is...
Carrying the dynamo, overall probably weighing about 3 tons on these little iron wheels. It's quite hard work, believe it or not. So there we are. If you're very lucky, you might see the dynamo going later on. Thank you, Melanie. The dynamo, the dynamo is sold by my grandfather. Ran off of a water wheel, providing power for the electric lights in the main house of the estate.
Murphy is a model of a full-size engine, which in their day would have been used for power fairgrounds using their dynamo. This is a fun little expert implement which you won't normally see as typical showrooms in Britain.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Charlie is a steam apprentice, as I said. He works and has experience in quite a few different engines, both full-size and miniature. And he might end up being a commentator in the future of this ring, I think, isn't
Did a very good job and put me out of work. Could I just cover this for a minute? I think the models are just property. First and foremost, we've been handed in a mobile phone. So if any of you are missing your phone, it was found in the area where the miniatures park up, and I had it in the commentary point. And then winning the voice of the company box as well. I'm getting quite a connection. So yes, check the property for your phone. If you've lost it, come and have a word and make a comment. Thank you.
Right, I'm just about to put some water in my little engine. So, if you could ask a nice 6-inch Barrow will come up this way. That would be great. And have a bit more fire. He also has the organ that's been playing for us all weekend, and has brought his barrel along as well. So when he gets there, I can't move far behind him because I'm keep pumping water into the boiler. I think the little one is escaping without having to talk, but I might get them later, don't worry about it. Right, so could you tell us a little bit about your engine and I can go to the pump up online? So we tend to stick to about 10. So we've talked a bit about the engines. These are the first steam engines you see in the room. This is how they work. We have a box, we have a box, box and fire with the fire box. That's surrounded by water, gets heated by the fire, water creates the steam, and the steam is the motive power for the vehicle. So they're all pedal filled so that they don't, it's called blowing on the plug, it's where you don't have enough water in the boiler or makes a big mess. So we don't want to do that. We're just going to get them all lined up. Then traditionally, although I don't really like it, we will have a whistle blow. And then after we've got them lined up. We didn't speak about this rather big Showman's engine. This is a 6-inch scale Showman's engine, and this one is only here for the day, so we're very lucky he's come along. And it's typical of the engines that would have been used in the showgrounds to drive the rides and to move all the equipment from site to site. It has a dynamo on the front, which when the engine is stationary, the dynamo is linked up to the flywheel, and that creates the electricity. Right, I think we've just got a couple more to line up. And then we'll see if we get them to blow their whistles, and then we've got somebody else coming in the room. Right, everybody, if you can listen, could you please have one of those horrible whistle blows? Are you ready? 2, 3, off you go.
Thank you very much, Melanie, for a lot of work goes into all these engines. Do go and speak to the owners and drivers when they're parked up in their normal position. And a reminder that I do still have that mobile phone stand in the miniature area. If anybody's missing their phone, please come and see a commentary point. Full-size Bowden wagon. It's the forerunner of the modern lorry. Now later on when the big engines come in, hopefully we'll get one of each, but steam wagons can be divided into two types, the over type and the under type. So the overpipe has the engine above the chassis, normal engine practice. If you look at that lovely green wagon as it comes down, you'll see that it's got the boiler at the front end, just like an ordinary traction engine, with the buck on the back, the load area, and a chain drive. If you look down underneath, you can see the chain drive to the rear axle.
Winning the pole has been replayed as well, so I have to take the...
27 to carry 6 tonnes, it's a general haulage vehicle of its time, and is a very, very sophisticated machine. So that's 12 inches to the foot, that's full size. Okay? Next to it we have mine, which is 6 inches to the foot. So for everything on the big engine is 12 inches, on my little engine it's 6 inches, or for those of you in the metric world, for every metre on the big engine it's half a metre on the little engine. So although we say it's half size, when you look at it, you think, oh, that's not half size, because remember it's half as high, half as wide and half as long. Next to that, we have 2 northern photos, and they are 4.5 inches. I say that with trepidation. Why 4.5 inches? That seems completely daft. But if you think 6 inches is half, 3 inches is a quarter, halfway between that's 4.5 inches. Don't ask me, this goes back to the days when they first made those models. If you want a bit more information about model making, you need to speak to Alfie with the haulage kit, because he's the person who tried to explain it to me. So the little one, so you've got the 3 different sizes there, and I think it's quite a good example of how miniature engines are exact replicas insofar as the big engines. Hopefully tomorrow we might get some traction engines up here, we're trying to find some good matches. So I'd like to say thank you very much to the big Foden for coming in. Rob bought this, how many years ago did you buy this engine, Rob? He bought this in 1988, so if you want to do a long-term project, he's the man to speak to. And how many years did it take you to do it up? It took him 34 years. Think of it, gentlemen, if you want to keep your husband occupied down shed, get him a heap of steam engine, and you won't see him for 34 years. But I'd like to thank Rob very, very much for coming in, and you will be seeing the big engines massively come in the ring in about 10 minutes' time. Oh, you can do a program and then go out, okay, so everybody can see how wonderful you are. I think we've nearly caught up with everybody. There seems to be a plethora of umbrellas here, obviously because it's so hot, and a really nice mix of engines. Oh, we've got a little one down here. This is a 3-inch scale. This is one of Ian's. And if you have youngsters that are interested, investigate the Steam Apprentice Club, and be prepared then to spend a lot of time in the shed and come to all these rallies. Oh, hello, Jim. You must.
This is a very early one. I think we're still in the carrying out, and it's been the one side of the steering. So the steer's not standing on the step, it's working the horizontal wheel there, and you have to turn it the opposite side, and then you have to
enjoyed that today. Next we've got the first of our Sentinel steam wagons, so if you were paying attention earlier you'll know the difference between overtime and undertime. Down to the rear axle, which is followed by Emily, an engine that was not named after my sister. S4 type pencil, so sharp drive, S-sharp full wheel, simple. And then on the front end is the firm. Now we have a Marshall roller. So for steam rollers, Aveling and Portner were renowned for them. They built more steam rollers than all the other manufacturers put together. The Marshall rollers were popular as well, and the standout feature on a Marshall roller is fast senders to the rolls. So we have a lovely singer-song in the Fowler now. You won't often hear me say the word lovely and Fowler in the same sentence, but that one is a particularly nice one. Single-cylinder agricultural engine, would have worked travelling from farm to farm with threshing equipment, and will also probably work baling or wood sawing. On this engine, look on the jet at the back, you can see those two polished rollers, which rollers, those engines,
chimney at the front of the spoke box, and
there we are, very nice Parham track. Local engines to me, I know it's one for exchanged it with the man down this way for when they went to the machine to go rallying. So it's probably been in Sussex longer than it was ever in Essex.
That engine is owned by the Ford Parham now. They've got a very large collection of traction engines, and they also host a local steam rally over there, which they've been doing since about 1968 or 69. The engine is very, very well travelled, all under its own steam. None of this low load of nonsense. Yeah, they drive it everywhere. It's probably good for a turn of speed of about 12 miles an hour, I should imagine, which to your modern car doesn't really sound that impressive, but considering most tracks engines do about 4 or 5, you can get a long way in this engine in a day.
According to George Sony, right, to get the rubber, it needs to go everything in there. So we've got an eye on Aiken rollers now, like I said earlier, Aiken installed more rollers than all the other manufacturers put together. And Aiken all have a horse on the front, but if you want to know,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do, we're going to line up this wonderful selection of steam engines here for you all to have a look at. We're going to pause for 5 minutes, probably get them to all blow their whistles, and and then on this wonderful day I think we're going to do steer an engine after this. So anybody who would like to have a go, steer an engine, queue up at the entrance of the arena, there's the location.
We've got another one of our Wallace traction engines now, and another one from Royal Digital Trust at Tinker Park, which is known as Edge.
steamrollers were over, you were far more important than that. And then you rolled it all down. So that was the scarifier. But a friend of mine got some scarifier at the track towards High Street, and that was not to be recommended. He ended up with a police escort out of town.
So as he was saying, the scarifier on the right hand side, it has time to get lowered down or drop the road. I've done it myself, so I've got a steamroller myself with a scarifier on, and we were going through a high speed with speed humps, which you wouldn't think is too much, but of course, if you leave the tines in, when you go down the other side of the speed hump, they get wedged. And then you're there with blocks of wood and jacks trying to unhook your own steamroller from out of the speed hump in the middle of the high street. That's never a good thing.
You can try saying that in the afternoon. It hasn't got a flywheel. The reason for that is steamrollers, when road surf went to tarmac, an ordinary steamroller with a big flywheel, there's always a dwell or a rest between going forward and backward, and you end up with three little holes in the tarmac, and you don't want three little divots in the tarmac road. So Wallace developed the Advance, which could go instantly toward the reverse, or as near instantly as you can get. We can also adjust the camber on the rear rolls to suit the camber of the road. So a very advanced machine, as the name would suggest. basically the idea is the same. We've still got the...
Well, 1 out of 20 is not bad. What do you think? Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful effort there. You'll hear all the whistles, large and small. Some are original. Some of the bigger ones are off of tugboats. There's an engine down that's got a tugboat whistle. I think there's railway whistles, there's train whistles, there's traction engine and steamroller whistles.